Hello, Bengal fans. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bengals in Paradise. My name is Chasten Scott, and today I want to talk about the report out there that Bengals basically narrowed down their choices to two final candidates in Al Godin and Patrick Graham. But before I do that, if I could just let you guys know, if you guys like my content, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel, Bengals in Paradise. Greatly appreciated. So back to that report about narrowing it down to two candidates, which was Al Godin from Notre Dame at college or Patrick Graham from the Raiders in the NFL. I feel like it was bound to happen. I speculated a couple of days ago. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I posted a tweet a couple of days ago stating that last week they only interviewed two candidates in Patrick Graham and DeMarcus Covington from the Patriots. And after that, it was basically just dead silence. No other reported or scheduled interviews for that position. And I just thought that was kind of suspicious. Like, I felt like they already had someone, in mind. And, that whole week, it was basically like there was interest. There was reported interest in Matt Eberflus, and there was that false report of interest in Wink Martindale. But besides that, there was only two reported interviews, and I feel from there they did that because of probably the Rooney Rule, and I feel like Patrick Graham was a legit candidate to become the Bengals DC, but I feel like they had Graham in mind and they had Al Godin in mind, and I feel like with him being in the national championship, it had to take a while for them to interview Al, because the whole process of him in the playoffs, and he's focused on that and winning the title. I get it. Zach and the Bengals, they don't want to bother him. They don't want to talk to him. They want to just wait till after the game. So that's why I feel like with that whole stretch of silence from no reports of any other interest from DCs, I feel Al Godin was their primary target of who they're trying to go for the Bengals DC position. And I ain't mad at it. These two final candidates in Graham and Godin, personally, I would love both these guys. It basically comes down to what Zach wants. With Patrick Graham, I feel like he brings out the best in players, whether they're veterans or young players, and I feel like Patrick Graham just has that niche on bringing it out of them, and I feel he would do that if he was the DC for the Bengals. We have so many young players that are not developed or just untapped potential, not playing to their standards, and I feel with Graham, he can bring out the best in everybody in that locker room. And who knows what he can do with Miles Murphy, who knows what he can do with DJ Ivy or Dax Hill. There's a lot of these young players that are on this roster that just needs the right coaching, and I feel like with Graham, he can do that. He can take the players to that next level that they are trying to achieve. And he basically does really well against some of the best, especially within his division. He always finds a way to not completely shut down, but give Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs like a hard time when they play each other. And not many defensive coordinators can do that. The only ones that I personally know about is Lou, which he's gone now, and Patrick Graham from the Raiders. I feel like those two guys just have that way of stopping the Chiefs somehow. and it's good to have that. And I feel like Patrick Graham is a legit defensive coordinator. He always has these no names on the defensive side of the ball besides Max Crosby, but even then, he still always ranks in the middle of the pack in his defense, and that's impressive. You can't complain about that. Imagine him with a more like star players besides Max. The sky's the limit for that Raiders defense, and I just feel personally that Patrick Graham would be a really really good fit for this Bengals team and what they're trying to do on the defensive side of the ball. And when it comes to Al Golden, obviously there's ties going back into the Super Bowl year 2021 when Al was the linebackers coach, and he did really well with that position. He did bring out the best in Logan Wilson. He did bring out the best in Jermaine Pratt. They're balling that year. They had a special run in the playoffs, and it was largely part because of Al Golden and what he did with the linebacker room. And I feel like with him kind of learning a lot from when he was with the Bengals, I feel like that can help him if he goes to come back experience-wise. And when he left to go to Notre Dame, he made that defense look really, really good. They look like they just want to attack. And when I look at the Notre Dame defense, they're just flying around the ball, and they're really playing with heart. They really are giving 110% their all when they try to make a play, and that's what you like to see. That's what the defensive coordinator is there to bring out the best in players, and I feel like Al Golden does that just as well as Patrick Graham. And the only thing is with him, going to college, everybody's wondering, will that translate to the NFL, to the pros? I think it will, and it'll be a smart decision if they were to hire Al Golden, because he's working with young players already. So it would be a smooth transition in my eyes for him to be going to the Bengals that are filled with young players, and I feel like he can bring out the best in them as well. So when it comes down to it, me personally, I would love both hires. I would love Patrick Graham, or I would love Al Golden. To me, it doesn't really matter. I love both. Like I said, whoever Zach chooses, I will be totally on board with it, and I'll be excited with the move. But if you was to ask me today what my gut feeling is, I just feel like it's gonna be Al. Just reading between the tea leaves and seeing these reports, and just pure gut feel. I just feel like Al Golden is the top choice in the Bengals defensive coordinator position, and I feel if something crazy happens during that interview, or they just get turned off by him, Graham would be the choice. So I feel like it's kind of like 1A, 1B, but I have that sense that Al Golden is the 1A, and I feel like he's their primary target on who they're trying to go for. And time will tell how he'll be as a defensive coordinator, because honestly, we kind of need these quick results now. We're not expecting for this Bengals defense to land anywhere in the top 10, but can they at least get to 16th, the top half of the league? Back-to-back years, we've been kind of the bottom of the barrel defensively, and it's disappointing. We need to get back to that good defense that we had, which was the good playoff runs, 2021, 2022. We need that defense to come back again, and whoever comes in, whether it's Graham or Golden, I just feel if they can bring this defense to at least like 16th, average, I feel like that's gonna do wonders for this team, because that's what we've been needing, especially this year. We've been needing defense. If Bengals have an average defense this year, we would be in the playoffs right now. And the Bengals front office knows it. They see it. They know that they have to improve on the defensive side of the ball. And letting Lou go, which was sad, but that change had to be made. In my previous videos, I always say that Lou, as great as a coach he is, his message, I feel, wasn't getting heard, especially this year. And the young players I didn't feel like they're bought in, or just the scheme was too difficult, and Lou was being stubborn to adjust to his players. And when he did, which is later in the year, they go on a 5-game winning streak. It's not magic. It's not rocket science. It's just that's what he should have done earlier in the year. And God knows where it would be. Would we have won more games? Possibly. Would we have made the playoffs? Possibly. Would the defense look average? Maybe. But we'll never know. Here we are, and it is what it is. Lou was too stubborn to change his scheme. It was too little too late, and that cost him his job, basically. And everybody knew that it was time to move on, to look for somebody new. But with Al Golden, that wouldn't be new, technically. He was on this team 3 years ago, but you catch my drift. We just needed a fresh face, somebody to, like I said, bring out the best in these young players that need to be developed the right way for them to reach their highest potential. And I feel like some players, if they reach their full potential, sky's the limit for these players. Like especially Dax Hill, I feel like he can be a Pro Bowl player, but he's not being fully developed. If he gets fully developed, I can see him making the Pro Bowl. A lot of potential. And we have Chris Jenkins, we have McKinley Jackson, we have Cedric Johnson, all these names that we just need to be developed and coached the right way in order for this defense, to at least be average next season. And so, with that being said, the championship game is this Monday, and I feel like right when the game ends, I feel like Al Golden is probably going to come down to Cincinnati for an interview, possibly Tuesday the next day. And I honestly think that Zach will make his decision either on that day, right after Al Golden's interview, or the following day on Wednesday. But like I said, if I was a betting man, I would place my money on Al Golden winning the job as of today. And with the reports that are coming out, they see it the same way. They feel like Al Golden is Bengals' number one target, who they're targeting from the get-go and who they want this whole time. And I'll be down with it. We just need somebody to revamp this defense. And I hope that whoever comes to the defense, I hope they get the power in picking the players that that they would want, whether it's free agency or the draft. I feel like if they can have at least somewhat of a say who they're trying to target, I feel like that would benefit the defense coordinator, because that would make him bring out the best version of himself and what he's trying to employ. And I feel like give him what he's asking and then just let them cook. You know what I mean? Front office can't be cheap, and they cannot be like, oh no, we don't want to give him this too much guaranteed money for this such player, or we don't want to draft this player because he doesn't fit what we're trying to do. Like, just give the coaching staff the keys and let him choose the players that he wants. Because if he's going to run this defense, why not give him the players that he knows that will fit his scheme? You know what I mean? It just makes too much sense. But, time will tell. And other than that, I was a bit surprised that they didn't really interview any more candidates. It was kind of weird, but at the same time, Bengals are they're narrow-minded. I feel like they knew right from the jump who they were targeting, and it shows. They only interviewed two people, Covington and Graham, and they're about to interview a third. So they basically only interviewed three coaches, and it was pretty obvious who they're targeting, and that's Graham and Golden. So I wish they could have maybe explore, maybe interview Eberflus or Dennis Allen, but we can't be mad at that. If Bengals have a plan and they're trying to go for that, then who are we to say it won't work? We just got to give it time, and hopefully the results show next season. Other than that, I'll be solely focusing next week, Monday, on the championship game. I'll be watching. I don't really watch college ball, but I'll for sure will be watching the championship game, especially Notre Dame's defense and how they look to stop Ohio State. And if they leave a good impression, if they make a statement against Ohio State, I'm pretty sure all Bengal fans will feel a sigh of relief, or they'll feel excited that Al Gordon will be the next DC. But if they lay an egg, they lay out a dud out there, that's not gonna give any Bengal fan confidence if they're to hire him. But we'll see. I'm hoping to see that Al Gordon puts out a good performance against these Buckeyes, regardless, even if they lose. I just want to see how his defense plays against Ohio State on Monday, and from there, transition to whether or not I was gonna be the DC or Patrick Graham. Either way, I'll be excited for both of them. I would love any hire between Graham and Golden. I feel like both of them would fit the culture and fit what they're trying to do, and I'm looking forward to it. So that's all I have to say for now. I'll probably be making another Bengals in Paradise video next week on possible, breaking news or announcement that who they're hiring as their next defense coordinator. But until then, Bengal fans, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hooray! And mahalo.